and welcome to the May 2025 update of the two Jeeps. It's been a busy week for me. That's an indication, but we'll start with the Cherokee. So I ended up having to change out the 11mm pump that I had built because the relief valve that goes right here had damaged, the threads were damaged, so it ended up dumping some aluminum chunks into my pump. So I disassembled that. I had a bum 10mm pump that I took all the internals out. I swapped over the internals from the 11mm pump, and I timed it to 0.085 millimeter, which is what the specifications are.
What is your gender? My gender. I'm a mechanic.
So I technically have, I think it's over in that corner over there, I have an 11mm pump that I built myself. So worst case, I have a 10mm, an 11mm, and then I have the 12mm mechanical injection pump. But I ended up purchasing this pump from Rock Auto, and if you looked up the part number, ID Parts was selling the exact same Bosch refurbished pump with all new internal parts for almost $4,000. I got this pump for $1,800, so, excuse me, $1,400, so I think that was pretty much a steal. But I did toss this back onto the Cherokee. I took off the 10mm pump, and it's been running perfectly fine, more power, which is what we want. But yeah, so the Cherokee is going to be getting towed up to Pennsylvania next week, I think. Yeah, next week I'll be towing it up to my dad's house, hanging out with him and my brother for about a week. Oh, and also, in between the 11mm pump that had the shavings in it and putting in the 10mm pump, I ordered a resealed 11mm pump from a reputable vendor up in
Canada.
And it's sitting over there, right there, with that wrap. And it didn't work. It literally didn't work. So I sat there and spent all the time to take off one pump to put on their pump, then to diagnose their pump, and that didn't work. Then to put the 10mm pump on and get it to work right. So I contacted them, let them know what happened. It was, of course, after I purchased this thing. I'm 43 years old. I don't want to be taking off pumps and putting on pumps. You know, if you tell me your pump works, then I'll give you the benefit of the doubt. If your pump doesn't work, I'm not going to be fooled again. So that pump is sitting over in the corner. I have a dispute with Navy Federal Credit Union. I guess we'll see what happens. It is pretty unique because it says it was rebuilt in the Czech Republic, which again, I mean, it is what it is, but the pump from Power TDI that I had for this thing that leaked was also built in the Czech Republic. So I'm wondering if this reputable vendor, and this is not Performance TDI, if this reputable vendor is just buying cheap pumps from Sebastian, I think his name is Sebastian. Yeah, Sebastian from Power TDI, and just upselling them as resealed pumps. It didn't leak, which is nice, but it wasn't a pump. It was a paperweight for my desk.
I'm as mad as hell, and I'm not going to take this anymore!
So, ignore the rotors. That was from the Tundra. I changed those back to factory. I didn't like the cross-slotted and drilled. But anyways, so the CJ was making some noises. I did a compression check, kind of tested everything. Everything looked good. I was driving it around the corner from the house. I normally take it out in the country just to test things out, and she popped. Ended up kissing 6 of the 8 lifters. You can still see one's kind of stuck, and punctured all of them. And then today, when I started putting it back, I realized that the tensioner also sheared. So I ordered a replacement one of those. But yeah, it was not an exciting experience, but it kind of is what it is. So I ended up also removing the Whitbread adapter remote oil filter. I noticed that with this thing, because it's against the firewall, it is a little bit hotter than the Cherokee. So I ended up putting a dual port ALH with you probably can't even see it, but there's a PD150 cooler at the bottom, which meant that I needed to cut and re-weld both the engine side mount and the driver side mount for the engine, for the oil filter. But I ended up ordering a AMC head from Cascade, Germany. Shout out to them, or Cascade German, excuse me. Shout out to them. It came in unbelievably fast. Also got the heavier duty valve springs. I got the PD lifters. They're in 2 containers over there soaking in oil. I did also drill and tap the front port, and instead of punching in the little fitting that comes with this head, I of course drill and tap that as well. I just prefer that. Additionally, the whole set HE200 5 centimeter is going back in. I think I'm going to prefer this overall. The GTD 1756 is over in the corner and it spools up like a monster. But I don't necessarily think that something like this with a short wheelbase needs anything that fast. So I'll be switching over the tune back to wastegate, turning off turbo control. But yeah, so I'm hoping to get this done by the time I leave. I am going to run some fresh oil and some ZDDP zinc additive, breaking in the cam appropriately, getting the oil up a temp, and then draining and putting in new oil. So that's basically kind of it. In the future, again, I still have that 4-link that I need to install with my dad and brother when they come down. I might just do it before then, but I'm really itching to do the compounds. Everything is basically set up in a redo. Some of the coolant lines that are kind of going up and over, maybe make them out of aluminum, weld them up. The compounds are still sitting in the corner with my spare engine that hasn't run yet. I have a set of 330 injectors in that drawer, and we'll see if something breaks. Hopefully not, but again, I guess we'll see. But yeah, so this is the May update. I really don't know what else to be making videos on. I'm sure this gets redundant and old. So maybe I'll stop making these for a while unless I have something that's of vital importance. Again, when this thing gets compounds, that's pretty important. But yeah, so that's my last week and a half. Hope everyone's doing well, enjoying the warmer weather, and best of luck with your swaps. These are my pumps. There are many like them, but these are mine. I seem to be collecting them like Pokemon. And some might say that I have a plethora of pumps.
A plethora? Oh, yes. You have a plethora.